Wow, I actually look like a college student. Yeah, that's my computer. I do not have my mouse with me. But hello everyone and welcome to my first book analysis review of 2026. Whoa. Okay, it's been a while. It is also that time of year when I dump out my billions of book reviews because I have not been able to do so because of uni. Since it's winter break, I got back into reading a lot, and the first book that I finished was Where the Crawdads Sings by Delia Owens, and I enjoyed this book more than I thought that I would. I remember hearing about this book a couple years back, and I think maybe like it was when I was in high school, so probably like 6 or 7 years ago. And I heard that it was really good, and I planned on reading it, but I never got to it because I was in my what is it, my fantasy romance phase. Finally got to reading it because winter break. I bought it and it has pictures of like some pictures of the live action, so that was pretty neat. Honestly, I'm kind of rushing this review analysis because I have other books that I want to read and I cannot read more books if I don't get the review in. So, Where the Crawdads Sing is about a young girl and her life into adulthood. The story takes place around like the 1950s, 1960s in North Carolina. I think, I don't really know, but it's in the south somewhere. Kaya, the young girl, eventually gets abandoned by her family one by one, and she's left to fend off herself. And like with the little that she had, and the little people that she knew, she tried her best to stay away from society and survive on her own. Because that's basically all she knew growing up, just trying to survive on her own. She eventually turns into a woman because she grows up, and we as readers were guided into her adventures as like a lonely outcast and like growing up as a woman. Later, she gets tried for the murder of this one guy who is called Chase Andrews, which is like an ongoing mystery throughout the whole book. So it jumps from like 1969 back to like the 1950s. So we see a little bit of the case and we see her growing up like at the same time. So the characters in the book are Kaya, her childhood friend Tate, the shop owners near her, Jumpin, and his wife Mabel, and the victim, which we know as Chase Andrews. I want to talk about the characters first. I thought that Owens did a great representation of every character. And the first person that I want to talk about is Kaya's dad, who she calls Pa. So Kai's dad is characterized as a very abusive man, and we see this throughout the majority of the beginning. But when everyone eventually leaves and it's just Kaya and her dad, we get to see his good side, and we only get to see his good side. We don't see his bad side at all. For me, this made me feel very on edge because, like, obviously we know his reputation. He's very abusive, and then like the comparison between like him being very abusive and him being not abusive towards Kaya when it's just the two of them juxtaposes, and it keeps us on edge. We see like the type of father that he could have become, but instead we're left with the fact that he is an abusive man, but he's treating Kaya well. This with like the image that he's being a good father kind of leaves us on edge because like it makes us wonder like when he might spiral and hit Kaya, and it also makes us wonder like when we're reading like if he's changing for the better. And I think it also makes readers wonder if he's only being kind because Kaya is all he has left, or if he's being kind because he is all Kaya has left. And obviously we can see the alcohol as like a big driving factor in what makes Kaya's dad abusive. We also see that he is very good to Kaya, and he starts drinking less and less when it's just the two of them. I think that like the cycle of abuse that Owens writes in terms of like Kaya's dad is, it's very realistic because like if you know how abusive relationships are, there are good days which are great days, and then there are bad days which are very very bad. Like for victims, sometimes they never really know when like that abuse cycle is going to trigger, so I thought that was really realistic, so it was beautifully portrayed. Next I want to talk about Tate. So Tate, he is Kaya's like childhood friend kind of. um he's definitely my favorite character. In my opinion, the author does a good job at shaping him as a very kind person. And throughout the book, we can see that like the town alienates Kaya. They have prejudices against her because she like lives in the marsh and stuff. And it's all the children and all the adults that feel this way about her, even when she was just a kid. Except for like Jumping in his wife Mabel, but like they're black, so they kind of know how it feels because at that time, obviously You can already tell, like in 50s, 60s. But Tate is the only young person who is shown to have genuine kindness and care for Kaya. And it's just so pure that, like, you as a reader, like, you can't miss it. Like, it's very genuine and very pure. Like, and Tate is very gentle, and he comes off as a very mature character even when he's like very young. He does things without thinking about it and like, oh, this and this. When he does think things through, it's like for Kaya, like it's for the benefit of her. Like he asks and he makes sure that she's comfortable. And although like there are times that like you can say contradicts this, I'm trying my best to not spoil it, but like Tate does own up to it. And there are many people, like especially men, who struggle with owning up to their actions. And we as readers, we see this in our everyday life and we see this in the book as well. But Kate shows us that he's like Tate shows us that he is like a man. And like it's yeah, and I love his character. And like one of the things that he also mentions is that his dad taught him like that it's okay to cry and like live fully. And I think that their relationship is just very beautiful because I think if Tate had a different kind of father like Kaya's father, he would have definitely turned out different. Like his dad is a great dad, that's why Tate is a great man. So I thought it was beautiful. The next character I want to talk about is Chase Andrews, who is the guy that was murdered. So on the other hand, we have Chase Andrews, who is like the exact opposite of Tate. And Chase Andrews is literally the exemplified version of men that we see a lot in society, while Tate is a type of man that women in society dream of. So you can kind of already see how like that difference is, which is why I think it's great. And it's not like yeah, like Owens does a great job of it, and she's not like pushing like a narrative or like whatever. Like it's done well. Owen's choice of having Kai interact with both these type of men really makes readers think about like their own men that they encounter in real life. And I like that. I like that because it's very realistic. Some men are trash, some men are great. But Chase Andrews, he grew up very privileged, and we can definitely see that like this shapes who he is as a person and as a man. Like he's literally the typical guy who thinks he's like super cool, like the guy that peaked in high school, the guy that like the whole town glazes because he was a quarterback, so cool football. And yeah, he is a type of guy that just never outgrows his reputation because like it built his ego. And I know like a lot of us know men like that. I want to talk about Jumpin' and Mabel. um so Jumpin' and Mabel are they're basically like Kaya's parents when like her family disappears. They are great people, and although we see less and less of them as Kaya grows up, I think that the impact that they made was literally like it was very significant to Kaya because without them she would have like not survived. Like literally, I never really registered them as her parents because we didn't see them as much, but like towards the end, like I thought that it was very beautiful that Kaya referenced them as her parents, because yeah, it was very heartfelt. Oh my god, I can't fucking speak. As you can tell, it's been a very long time since I've done this. And obviously, the last person that I want to talk about is Kaya herself. Oh my god. So I don't really like contemporary books, but I feel like I related a lot to Kaya, and I feel like her character is very realistic in the way how people realistically handle things. Like she has abandonment issues, like bad. Like obviously she was abandoned by her entire family one by one, and she has to grow up alone. Yeah, like you can thoroughly see her struggles and you can feel that with her, and like it doesn't like metamorphize until like later on when you're like yeah. Like if you're not familiar with what abandonment issues look like you won't really know until it gets towards the end, because obviously like then you'll kind of realize that the reason why Kaya acts like this and that is because she has abandonment issues, and she's like a very shy person as well. So it's not like she's out there going like, no, do not come near me, I'm scared you're gonna leave me. It's like she holds that loneliness very, very deep inside her, and she knows that she can survive on her own, but like as a human being, your want to have that connection with other people is very strong. So Owens did a really good job personifying like all of these inner struggles. I just touching a little bit on the relationships between the characters. I liked Kaya and her relationship towards her dad, how Owens literally like only showed the good side of her dad when it was just Kaya and her dad. Like an abusive person can be good, but it doesn't take away the fact that they are abusive. And I just can't get over it because it really, really made me think. And I was like, wow, you're really on the edge because you never see him be bad to her at all. Like, even when he eventually leaves, like, I don't even think he hits her. I also really loved Kaya and Tate's relationship. They have a lot of chemistry, and we see that a lot. And yeah, they just have a lot of chemistry, and I think they fit together very well. I think he's perfect for Kaya. He's very mature, and he's very gentle, and he's a great guy. I don't really have anything else. This is the first contemporary book that I've read in like a long time. I personally rate the book a 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't like extravagantly jaw dropping, but it was good and it made me think a lot, as you can tell. So, like, props to it. Yay. So, I enjoyed it. I kind of want to talk about like the analysis. So, like, the themes that like I definitely picked out in the book. I feel like this is going to be the new classic for students and for high school students. It reads like those kind of books that you read when you're in high school and the teachers assign you, you don't want to read it. But like I actually enjoyed it. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older now, so my brain is more developed, but I actually enjoyed it. I think maybe if I was in high school, maybe I wouldn't enjoy it. One of the themes I picked out from the book was abusive relationships and how men take from women. And I just thought that this was done so beautifully. Like, I can't. Like, for example, Kaya and her parents, Kaya's dad tricked her mom and he took from her. Like, he took everything from her. Like, he took her life, he took her kids, like, just everything. Later on in the book, Chase Andrews does the same thing to Kaya, and Kaya's like, I don't want to be like my mom, but it ends up happening to her as well. Chase Andrews, he takes from Kaya, and we literally see this in society where men take stuff from women. They take their careers, they take their body, they take their lives, like metaphorically and physically. Like, they kill women. They literally leave the woman feeling dead inside with like the stuff that they do to them. Like, they take and take and take. And like, I thought that this was I think it's so smart that Owens added this theme into the animals in the book as well, like the praying mantis and like whatever. She references how like how the male animals take from the female animals, but the female animals like bite back. Then they kill the male. They eat the male, like the praying mantis. So I thought that it was just very, very cool. I'm very impressed. Yeah, I thought that it was very smart and very cool. So loved that theme. The other theme that I was able to kind of pick out was womanhood. And you can kind of relate this back to the theme of like how men treat women. I think a lot of women grow up knowing that like their lives are at risk and that men a lot of the times, if not most, are trash. And we know this in society because society treats women differently from men. We see this as Kaya grows up into a woman because obviously she's treated different, and we can see how she's treated by the men around her. If you're like a woman reading the book, you kind of understand the stuff that she's going through, like the love, like how your body changes, puberty, like all stuff like that. The other theme, obviously it relates directly back to Kaya, is trauma and loneliness, and we see this explicitly because Kaya is abandoned by her family and she's very, very lonely. And we explore the theme about like the fear of abandonment when we watch Kaya. People can be very lonely and yearn for like connection with others, but at the same time they push them away. You know what I mean? And again, I feel like if you haven't really explored this topic or if you don't really relate to it, you won't really understand like the fear of abandonment or like how like significant it can take over someone's life, because it sounds stupid, right? Like, how do you want to connect with people, but then when they want to connect with you, you push them away? Obviously it's stupid, but it's a genuine psychological thing of the brain trying to protect itself because of these patterns that has happened before. That was another theme that I kind of picked up from the book. I was kind of looking at it and I didn't realize that the marsh was like a huge symbol in the book. Obviously, this is why I would have not passed English class, because like I think the marsh really symbolized like hiding. Kaya hid a lot, like she ran a lot and she hid a lot, and we see that so much in the book. But Obviously, if this was me back in high school, I would have not realized that it was a huge symbol. And it also symbolizes life because that's where she gets her food from. This is where she finds her happiness. Yeah, overall, I like the book and I would definitely recommend it. But the movie, oh my god, I literally could not get through the movie because no offense or anything, but like what happened to the casting? Like I feel like the only casting that I liked was Tom, who was her lawyer. And I think it's interesting how they made him pretty important in the film. But like obviously in the book we only see him towards the end. My criticism is like why is Tate like the Tate in the film like why is he like zesty? Like I don't know. I think it's the makeup and the costuming that makes him look zesty, or maybe how he acts, low key. And I think maybe they couldn't finish filming because I saw like some of the green screen parts, and that made me kind of sad because I'm like, oh, sad they didn't finish filming. They had to use green screen. And also, Kaya's wig is just like, okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, but I did not imagine Tate looking like that. I don't know. He just didn't really give the Tate that lived in the book. Like he was more like zesty. But like I already talked about it, but the Tate in the book was very gentle and very mature and very approachable. I couldn't finish it. But I feel like maybe this might be like a classic in the near future and like teachers might make their students read this because it obviously has a bad movie to go with it. And we know that that's usually how it goes in high school. But yeah, that is Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm happy to start 2026 with this. Look forward to my next book review. Bye.